All right, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like Oscar De La Hoya wants to petition Vergil Ortiz Jr. to fight Keith Thurman after if Vergil Ortiz is successful against Michael Mckinson for, I guess, like I said before, a title eliminator. I'm going to break it down for y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. So Vergil Ortiz looks like he's making his way as a young prospect. He's making his way up into the ranking system. Well, he's already made his way up to the ranking system very high. I think he's like number two in the WBC, and then he was like number 3 in the IBF, number 3 in the WBA, and I think he's like number 1 in the WBO. And Vergil Ortiz is a pretty good fighter. A lot of people compare him to the 3D version of Errol Spence Jr. I think Vergil Ortiz needs time to grow. We got to see how he looks against Michael Mckinson. Michael Mckinson, I think he's going to knock out Michael Mckinson. Michael Mckinson is not the biggest puncher. He's just looking to box. He's not looking to hurt anybody. So that will be a WBO in the rankings in the WBO, and I think he's going to easily beat Michael Mckinson. I think Keith Thurman, at the end of the day, if Oscar De La Hoya does seem to petition with the WBC to make it happen, which I think they could get a deal done, I think that's going to be a very hard fight for Vergil Ortiz, and that's going to be a very hard fight for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, he ain't the Keith Thurman 5 to 10 years ago. Keith Thurman still has athletic. Keith Thurman still has power in somewhat. Keith Thurman still has speed, but Keith Thurman timing is dead off. I think Keith Thurman needs another fight. And why not go in with a young gun like Vergil Ortiz Jr.? I think he beats Vergil Ortiz Jr. in my opinion, but here's the catch: if Vergil Ortiz Jr. Catches Keith Thurman in the body, which Vergil Ortiz Jr. is a very good body puncher, and he's just like Errol Spence Jr. in a similar way. He breaks you down from the body, and he's looking to close the show at the top. And Vergil Ortiz Jr., he's not looking to make sure Keith Thurman runs around the wing. He's going to cut off the ring brutally and get to Keith Thurman and finish Keith Thurman. And Vergil Ortiz could potentially win that fight. If Vergil Ortiz wins, that is a major step up for Vergil Ortiz. He knocked out Maurice Hooker, and Maurice Hooker broke his hand, but he knocked him out. And he knocked out Ives Kavaliauskas, even though Vergil Ortiz was hurt against Ives Kavaliauskas. He weathered the storm and knocked out Ives Kavaliauskas. I think it's a great fight. A lot of people want to see Vergil Ortiz at this time face Terrence Crawford. Vergil Ortiz was calling for Terrence Crawford, and now Terrence Crawford's available. You don't hear Vergil Ortiz calling for him. I think Vergil Ortiz team's like, I don't think we're ready for Crawford. And Crawford came out a year ago and says, look, you don't want to do this. You don't want to get in the ring with me. I'll end your career. Crawford said that on numerous occasions, and he ended Jose Benavidez's career, in my opinion. And it was smart for Vergil Ortiz not to take the fight with Crawford. A lot of people was gassing up on Vergil Ortiz, saying, he could beat Crawford right now. No. I think Crawford would have either got Vergil Ortiz by knockout or stoppage, because Vergil Ortiz at times stands flat-footed. Sometimes he needs to tighten up on his defense. And if Vergil Ortiz just box, he already has the knockout power. If he's just looking to box and have a more lateral movement, I think Vergil Ortiz will be a problem, and also tighten up on his defense and get his head off the line at most times, because he was getting pieced up by Ives Kavaliauskas, and he was getting outboxed by Mighty Mo Hooker, but Maurice Hooker and Vergil Ortiz, in all the chatter, he knocked both of them out. And I think Vergil Ortiz needs a lot of work, but I think Keith Thurman is a major step-up fight for Vergil Ortiz. I have Vergil Ortiz could potentially stop Keith Thurman in the body if he could get to him, but I have Keith Thurman winning the fight. I just think at the end of the day, Keith Thurman has a higher ring IQ than Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz is only 23 years of age, so he still have years to come to collect a high ring IQ. I think Keith Thurman has the speed, the power, the athleticism to stay away, and boxing ability to stay away from Vergil Ortiz and make Vergil Ortiz miss and make him pay. If Keith Thurman could get his timing back, I think Keith Thurman could beat Vergil Ortiz by unanimous decision. And it would be a learning lesson for Vergil Ortiz if he loses to Keith Thurman, and it would be a step up and a major step up fight for Vergil Ortiz if he beats Keith Thurman. And it makes no sense why he will fight Keith Thurman, because he's ahead. He's one spot ahead of Keith Thurman. So I can see why they would want to make the fight. But I think it's a great fight. I think Vergil Ortiz, he has ace-team knockouts. He's a very, very strong puncher. It was crazy that he said he want to fight Jaron Ennis within 4 years. That's ridiculous. You're going to wait 4 years to not to want to fight Jaron Ennis. It makes no sense, but I can see Vergil Ortiz, taking a step back, looking like, okay, I don't need to fight Crawford. I just need to take time to build up my fights. But Vergil Ortiz is like ranked number 1 and ranked very high in all the sanctioned bodies, just as well Jaron Ennis. But with that being said, Oscar De La Hoya is looking to petition for Vergil Ortiz to fight Keith Thurman. I think it's a great fight at the end of the day, and it's a winnable fight for both guys. And at the end of the day, whoever wins that fight could be potentially being in a mandatory spot to fight the winner of Errol Spence Jr. and Yordenis Ugas. But I don't see them fighting those guys, because once they get the chance to fight Terrence Crawford, the winner of Ugas and Errol Spence Jr., I believe once they acquire all the belts, I think those guys are going to move up and vacate the belt. So you're potentially not going to see these guys fight each other ever once they move up. Maybe if they decide to move up someday, but I just don't see these guys, these young cats right now, fighting the top dogs right now while they're at the peak of their careers. With that being said, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.